latest on the controversial Bay Delta Conservation Plan and its proposal to build twin tunnels under the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta. Hi, I'm Steve Swat for Comcast Newsmakers, and my guest this segment is John Laird, the Resources Secretary for the state of California. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
We've talked about this issue before on this program. I do want to ask you about the timetable. Can we expect a final plan fairly shortly?
Well, we closed the comment period, and there were roughly 11 or 12,000 comments, and I think we will recirculate for small parts of it for a period of time. But now our job is to respond to the comments and to take into consideration issues that people have raised. And we're constantly narrowing the issues. In the past, we've shortened the tunnels, we've taken away some of the bays around intakes, we've got it down to a smaller size, and now we're just going to look at financing and final issues on flows, and my guess is sometime around February or March we would be prepared to make a decision. And
this project will not require either voter approval or legislative approval, is that correct? That's correct. In the water package in 2009, they really directed things about the project, but they said it has to do dual goals. It has to work on ecosystem health as a goal, and it has to do water reliability as a goal. So while people focus on the tunnels, there's also over 100,000 acres of habitat restoration that's included in this. I guess one of the fears of some of the people who live in the Delta area is that those dual goals to them don't seem mutually exclusive. Well, actually, right now, people sue. If there's an issue, people sue. The real goals are not taken into account in the project. And for the first time ever, we're talking about tying water exports to success in ecosystem health. So if there's not success in ecosystem health, there would be lower exports in a range. If there is success, there would be upper. So it actually ties it together in first time in history. It's interesting that success in ecosystem health was taken out of the water bond because of the feeling that this is so controversial that you didn't want to gum up the water bond. It wouldn't have been my choice because I think that the Delta is crashing and we need to do things in the Delta regardless of whether there's a project. But whatever it takes to have some unanimity about moving ahead, because we have a broader agenda which includes conservation, recycling, storage, wetlands restoration, a whole host of things that we have to do across California, even if we weren't in a drought. And so the water bond's moving ahead against all those other goals. And I know the water bond and your drought response and your Bay Delta Conservation Plan, they're all just part of one large water management, including groundwater we haven't even talked about. It's really true, and by the time people view this, the legislature will have voted on a groundwater bill. I'm optimistic. I think there's a real shot at it passing. California is one of the few states that does not regulate groundwater, and I think the only one in the western states, and whenever Texas is ahead of California on regulation, you have to scratch your head. But I think that could be changing. One final question before we run out of time. Are you disappointed with the response of many Californians to the calls for voluntary conservation during the drought? I wish it was a little better, but actually the response has been pretty good. And in weekends, I still live at home in Santa Cruz where we have the most stringent requirements and where people have cut 26%, 93%. So it's happening in many places. We just have to make sure it happens everywhere. All right. Resources Secretary John Laird, thank you very much for coming by, talking about the huge issue of water in California. We appreciate it. And I appreciate being here. And thanks to our viewers for watching Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Steve Swat. We'll see you next time.